I've had a house in Cowes for a long time, about 10, 12 years, but I think some people do know I've spent a lot of time in Hong Kong over the last 10 or 15 years, not in the marine business. But I've always loved Cowes, had a house here, and wanted to change my lifestyle. 20 years of jet lag and aeroplanes, and I wanted to do something different. And I was just lucky the timing came up. I saw this job advertised, and here I am on a cold January day.
They're quite big shoes to get into.
Yes, yep. Phil did an excellent job, and prior to him there was the Stuart Quarry World. So yeah, it's a big regatta. The people who've been running it have been doing an excellent job. So it is big. The idea of the regatta itself, when I'm sitting in this office today, is quite a scary thing. 800 boats, 8,000 people, 40 starts. It's a pretty big. Well, I think it's the world's biggest regatta.
You're well respected by other sailors. I think that's an important job, isn't it? It's an important thing to have.
It's very kind of you to say that I am well respected by other sailors. I've certainly met quite a few of them in the protest room. So, but I've met a lot of sailors on the race course. My background is Etchells in the Solent. I used to be the class president of the Etchells here. Prior to that, I'd done a lot of big boat sailing. I did the Admiral's Cup and Commodore's Cup, Sydney Hobart. So I've done a lot of sailing around the world in a lot of different classes. I've done flying 15s here at Cowes Week. I've done quarter tonners here at Cowes Week. So I've done a lot of boats. I think knowing the Solent is important. Sit down on my first day, which was yesterday, and have a look at the chart and say, okay, we've got to squeeze all these races in. We've got to squeeze all the boats in. It does help to know the lay of the land a bit and the tides. So I think the competitive sailing background is an important part of it, yeah.
It's good to hear that you're at the smaller boat end, the smaller keelboats, the white group, because in some ways they get a little bit ignored, don't they, by the big rock star boats?
I'm not sure. I think that I've done a lot of white group sailing in Cowes Week in my time, quite a few Etchells regattas here. I don't think they get ignored by the organisers, but sometimes the big boats are a little more flashy, shall we say. But white group and day boats are integral to Cowes Week. There's no suggestion of anything else. Going forward, certainly in the conversations I've had with the other team, the rest of the team here, a healthy, vibrant, strong white boat, white group fleet is very important. That's definitely key to us. As is, to be honest, the Corinthian element of Cowes Week. It's not meant to be a inshore, windward leeward world championship. It's meant to be what the Americans now call open course racing, tides, headlands, wind shifts, slightly longer races. So there's a heritage of Cowes that we want to maintain and build on.
Is that what makes Cowes a little bit special, do you think?
For me, yes. And I know lots of overseas sailors who, other than the bad years for weather, which we had last year, a bit of a windy, wet one, the year before, 2016, I was with the Hong Kong crew in the J109s. It was an incredible week, incredible. The sun shone, the wind blew, and Cowes Week was absolutely one of the best regattas in the world. There's no doubt that it does offer something very special, and when people do it, 9 times out of 10 they love it.
What will you then bring to Lendy Cowes Week 2018, and what do you think you're going to change or make it more attractive to get more sailors here?
2018 is 6 months away. It's in the office. One of the team has it by day, so I think it's 191 days. In fact, it's on the website how many days to the first race. So it's not a lot of time to make too many changes. We are going to focus a little bit on communication with the classes, pre-regatta and during regatta. So pre-regatta, what is it that the competitors, are expecting us to deliver? We do a very detailed feedback form with competitors, and you basically can't please all the people all the time. One person will say no running starts, and the next person in the same class will say I love the running start. So what we want to do is to communicate with all the class secretaries, and I've already started this process yesterday, and say what is it you would like, what do you think your class would like out of this week? And then by and large we'll try to work around those requirements. Variety of courses, last year in the Etchells perhaps we did a little bit too much in the Eastern Solent. I'd like to make sure that everybody gets a run of different parts of the Solent. But obviously courses and wind angles for the different boats, asymmetrics and spinnaker pole boats, we need to be on top of that. So those are sort of some of the short-term areas that I'm looking at, and then longer term we'll have to have a bit of a think.
It is quite a balance, isn't it, to keep the sailors happy as well as the race committee and everyone else, all the volunteers happy as well, yeah, and sponsors.
Yeah, this regatta couldn't run without the sponsors. well, it could, but it would be a different regatta. It certainly could not run without the volunteers, and we need to be very mindful of the fact that, you know, more than 200 people give up a week of their time, and you know, a day on a committee boat sounds romantic. A day on the committee boat on the 8th day when it's blowing 25 knots and pouring with rain, less romantic. So the volunteers are key. Competitors are key. You know, we have 800 boats here. We'd like to keep that number up in that sort of region. There's a lot of people involved in Cowes Week who get lots of different things out of it, and keeping that going is very important.
Had any surprises yet?
No, I haven't really. I mean, there's a great team here. I'm the Regatta Director, but there's a finance team, there's a marketing team, there's a logistics team, and there's an IT team. The IT, I suppose yes, one surprise to me is in the back office. It does look a bit like NASA because there are servers and computers and screens, and trying to process the entries and the results. And the results service here is, you know, second to none. You standing having a cold beer at the Yacht Haven or Shepherd's, the results come up on the board. It's a really great service. So that part of it is very comprehensive. It works well, but it is a surprise to see quite as much computing power in the back office.
Well, welcome, as I say, to Lendy Cowes Week, Laurence. We look forward to 191 days' time.
I think it's 191 days. Look forward to it then. Hope to see most of the competitors back.